It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Wednesday, happy game day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream, a part of the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network, and it's always presented to you by our wonderful partners at Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, and nothing says January 11th must-win game against the Ducks like a delicious Popeye's chicken sandwich available on DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, and Uber Eats. Tommy, how are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic. I cannot wait for the pre- and post-game show. Does disaster await for this team? Is it going to be another wild post-game show that takes us well into the wee hours of the morning like it did on Monday night? I don't know. Buckle up, baby, because this Oilers team never does things the easy way. What a drama.
I want to see you doing a post-game show to 2 in the morning. That's what I want to see. I want to see you wrapping up at 2 in the morning, buddy.
Oh, I think we got out at 12:45 on Monday, which is pretty good considering the game ended around 11:20.
Yeah, so you got like an hour and a half in almost.
Yeah. And like I was worried Cass, because Cass has got to be up in the morning. Cass says,
yeah, that's a late one.
He stuck around. He's like, no, I'm sticking. I was like, Cass, you could duck out. We went pretty long in that first segment. He goes, nope, let's keep going. This is great. And people were pissed.
But I mean, we can argue, or not even argue, we can discuss what to be pissed about, but it's completely justifiable that people are this angry midway through the season with the way that this season has gone. That's fair, at least, right? I
would say so. I mean, this team and its record is not where it should be. They've blown games against so many teams that are below them. 21-18-3, Dusty. Like they're in the same kind of boat where they were in last year. Now they were in an absolute spiraling out of control, I think, at this point last year. And then they finally cleaned it up in the first couple of weeks of February. This is not where they should be. Blown games and leads and losses to teams that you shouldn't lose to. Like even the loss to LA, they really didn't have a chance in that game because LA was the superior team from the puck drop.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those games where you're like, oh man, they played really well and just didn't win tonight. That wasn't the case.
I don't think it was just that win specifically that kind of set people off. It's been the culmination, It's the culmination. And then that one was just like, come on. At least that's the feeling I get from the fan base. Like, do something. Do something. This is a very important game. First of 5 in a row against the Pacific. Don't soil the sheets again. And guess what they did? Huge mess. Huge mess.
Shit everywhere.
There's crap everywhere. The sheets are either being burnt and thrown out, or they're being in the heavy rinse cycle in the washing machine with a ton of bleach.
Gross. Yeah, it is heavy
gross.
rinse cycle. No thanks.
That's a great way to describe the Oilers' first half of the season. Gross.
Yeah, gross. You're right. If you're looking for one word, it was gross. I mean, you might want to say inconsistent, but I think gross is the best way to look at that. Hey, so tonight, I mean, they should have a morning skate here right away, right? 11:30 Pacific time. So we might get some lines while we're doing this episode. But tonight against the Ducks, man, and I remember setting up that last game against the Ducks. It was an afternoon game at home here, wasn't it? Was it an afternoon? I think it was an afternoon game. Yeah,
it was.
But I thought that was one that they were going to control. In fact, I think I had my biggest NHL wager of the year on the Oilers in that game, and it backfired miserably. I remember my wife just looking at me, sitting there next to me, being like, "This happens all the time with you." You're like, "There's no way they're not going to win this game." And then they didn't. Now they had, what was the shots? 43-17 or something like they. But that 49. Was a game Darnell Nurse. Yeah, was it 49-17?
49 shots on Lucas Dostal, of all people.
Dostal, yeah. That was a game in which Darnell Nurse had a couple big-time F-ups against the Ducks there, I do believe. There's a few games we can say that, I guess, this year. Yeah, that's true. But you look at it now. So setting it up tonight, they've got the idea of a bounce back from the game 2 nights ago. They got the idea of not losing to the lowly Ducks again. I want to say there's no way they don't win this game tonight, Tommy, but you really can't say that with this team this season, can you?
No. The answer to that is no. This team will disappoint you when you expect them to just kind of carry water and do the right thing. They'll surprise you when you expect nothing of them. It's a messed up, crappy situation that they put themselves into. And it's because of that inconsistency that you alluded to. That's the proper term. We like to use crap in the bed, soiling the sheets here on the Oil Stream because that's the way we rolled. And we like to be blunt about it. But yeah, you can't predict this team. I will say this to their credit. When they do need a bounce back game this season, they generally get it, regardless of the opponent. Generally, they get it. I do expect them to bounce back. I do expect them to have killer instinct. I do expect them to smack the Ducks around the same way the Bruins did the other night. Will they do it? Time will tell, but I expect them to.
Well, with that being said,
what's happened.
Yeah, let's quickly dive in then to our Oil Stream slick pick for tonight because I got a little wager on this game tonight. It's all for Cool Bet. Stay cool, bet responsibly. Once again, the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeyes, but part of the Cool Bet Nielsen Media Network. Here's the play tonight. This is over at coolbet.com. It's a bet builder there, so you click on the game, you click on BB, and then you can kind of pick. It's like a same game parlay essentially.
Yeah.
So the Oilers to score more than 3.5 goals, the Oilers to win by 2 goals or more, and Connor McDavid to score. It's plus 200. That's it. That's the bet. McDavid goal. Oilers win by at least 2, and they score at least 4 goals. It's plus 200. So if you were to bet, let's say $50, you would win 150. So you get your 50 back and win 100. So 50 turns into 150 with a McDavid goal, Edmonton minus 1.5, and the Oilers team total over 3.5 goals at plus 200. So 2-1 odds on that tonight, Tommy. I mean, I feel pretty good about that one. I guess what I might be worried about is Jack Campbell doesn't play well and the Oilers win 5-4. So then I don't cover the puck line of minus 1.5. But I feel pretty good about that bet. That's a slick pick today.
Well, there's a few things that are working in your favor here, and I alluded to them bouncing back. But McDavid against the Ducks is pretty tremendous. 34 points in 21 games, multi-point games in each of his last 6 versus the Ducks. And Leon Draisaitl has tore up the Ducks as well. He's got 33 points in 26 games versus Anaheim. Also has a 6 points or a 6 point in 6 straight games against Anaheim. So like these guys have just shredded them, and that should continue tonight. And we'll see. Edmonton at Anaheim has actually been generally pretty good. I think they've won 4 of their last 6 at Honda Center. So there's a lot of good things rolling into this. But this Oilers team finds a way to poop on it. I don't think they do that tonight. I think they get the result. I like that bet builder. I'm considering it. Maybe that's my first ever bet.
I was going to say, you're considering it. You don't even bet. But maybe this is the first one. I like that. What do you think of Jack Campbell tonight? Like, where do you think Jack Campbell's game's at heading into a couple of games here where he's got to be the guy?
Yeah, I think it's gotten better. Like, it seems like he's more calm and confident. He has said that, although, that might just be lip service.
Yeah.
I think just some of the ways he's making saves now, like the puck control seems a little bit better. His glove hand has gotten better. His tracking seems to be improved. The goal that Kempe got where it went in the net and he made the glove save, like that was a great play. A great attempt at a save, and it was a nice catch. It would have been brilliant if the puck didn't cross the line.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous reach for that one.
Yeah, and then the was it the breakaway goal? Like it hit his glove, the Iafallo one, and then it bounced. And I didn't like that one, but he got a good chunk of it. He's been better. Can they ride him the next couple games to success? Yes. This is Anaheim and San Jose we're talking about. Like they started Stuart Skinner in that loss to the Ducks, so I think they should be okay. And Calvin Pickard is a serviceable number 3 guy. He's been a number 2. He's had to be the starter for a couple teams in small windows over the course of his career at the NHL level. So goaltending wise, I think they're okay.
We're going to get to the blue line. Well, yeah, let's dive into it now. I mean, it's been a discussion here for a long time. It's your Boston Pizza appetizer. It's as though we will be at the Kingsway Boston Pizza. Tuesday, January 24th, 6 o'clock. So Tuesday, 6 o'clock. That's what we've been doing for a lot of these on locations. Tommy, the Kingsway Boston Pizza. So that'll be exciting.
Right up 109th Street for me. Yeah, very close. Very close. I like it.
There you go. So start making plans to join us. That is, 2 weeks from yesterday. 2 weeks from yesterday, you can join us for an oil stream live at Boston Pizza out at Kingsway. And hopefully the folks from Kingsway will be aware that I'm going to need a smoked ham and chicken stromboli sandwich. That is tradition now, Tommy. When it happened twice, it's tradition now. And you had one last time too with me.
Yeah, the Terwilliger location. Yeah. They just brought me one of those strombolis.
You didn't even get to order.
I felt bad. Yeah, I didn't even order. And Gager was there. I was like, here, man, have my fries. And I'm like, do you want half? And he's like, no, I don't need to eat. But it was so good. I loved it. So I look forward to potentially having another one.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. All right, so the whole discussion surrounding the search for a defenseman. We talked about this a little bit on the Nielsen show today, Tommy. But I would be very stunned if there's not a new defenseman of some sort in Edmonton prior to the deadline. No matter how you get it done, Ken Holland needs to add one more piece to the blue line, whether it's a rental, whether it's Chychrun, whatever. The question is, what do you think is more likely right now prior to the deadline? Multiple firsts and Broberg, or a first and a second and Broberg for Chychrun, or another one of those elite level guys?
Yeah.
But let's just say Chychrun for argument's sake. Or a rental D-man for like Puljujarvi's salary and a third or fourth round pick, or a second round pick for this rental D-man and a contract going the other way. So it's like, I don't want to say Band-Aid, because it could be more than a Band-Aid if they get the right rental, but do they try to fix this long term, or do they try to fix this short term prior to the deadline?
I don't get the sense, talking to people in the organization, that Chychrun is the guy that they're going to go and make a monster run at. And that might be them throwing up smoke screens, but in those conversations, they usually point out that they have a guy that's like Chychrun, not necessarily defensively sound, left shot, supposed to be the anchor on the blue line, gets his points, skates well. That's number 25, who's had a tough year. And so that's kind of like the hold up against going after a Chychrun. Yes, he's, way better contract than Darnell Nurse. And I think that would, appease a lot of people if they went and got him. Would they package up mid-rounders and Puljujarvi to get like a rental? I think the cost might be more than mid-rounders. I think you might have to be looking at a first.
A second? A first still.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah. The prices are high right now. The prices are super high.
But if you're going to move a first for a rental, you might as well move another first with it to get Chychrun. Wouldn't you think? 3 years of Chychrun for 2 firsts?
Yeah, And like, I personally would do it. Like, if you're talking about moving on from Broberg and you're going to get another guy, if they can find a way to make the money work, I would do it. Absolutely. And do I think they will, or do I think that's going to happen? I feel like it probably won't. That's what I'm saying. I think that I was told that the list that they're compiling is pretty big. There's names on there that haven't been thrown out yet. And there's guys that might shake loose when teams start to fall out of the playoff race, or when teams start to decide that they're sellers and not buyers, that the Oilers might make a run at, and people are like, oh, I didn't know he was available. And they get a guy like that. That's what I think could be the third option to this question in terms of an answer. It could be a guy that we didn't know was on the radar or was available or on the block. And would it come at a high price? Yeah, like a first rounder. Puljujarvi is a throw-in. Watch Puljujarvi. I'm thinking he's going to be a throw-in at any point, because this saga needs to end. It's just
on the $3 million, right? Like you got to move out,
save the cap space. Exactly. Yeah. If they do make a run for Chychrun, that would be a pleasant surprise if they're able to land him. But this guy's been on the market for so long. We know the Coyotes are asking for a ton, and they haven't been able to make anything happen. And right now, like, they're just letting him play and do whatever he wants. Like, that team is so bad, he can do whatever he wants, boost up his trade value. We're seeing really good numbers from him, but the type of defenseman that he is, every conversation we have, whether it's up in the press box at an intermission or other private conversations, like, yes, he's great. He's highly sought after commodity, but we kind of have a guy like that who unfortunately costs more than double.
Who's also not a highly sought after commodity. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah. Look,
nope.
Like the Chychrun thing, he would make their blue line better. 100%.
Yes.
There's nobody that's going to say that's not the case. The hesitation to me is he can't stay healthy. He's never been able to stay healthy. And then I think it was Speck that wrote the article how he's not a fit, and he's not wrong. Like, to me, it's almost like he's the only guy that's been readily available for a year, so you just accept it even if it's not exactly what your team needs. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna give up significant assets for the future, with basically the last chance you have, like, this is it. Like, you can't go out and give up 2 firsts for a defenseman and not have it work out. Like, whoever you bring in, supposed to be the final piece of the whole picture to win a Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So there's no room for error. There's no room to get the guy that's not exactly the right guy, which is why that's why I'm a little hesitant on it, because I feel like you're just settling for the guy who's available, as opposed to maybe even paying more for somebody a team doesn't necessarily want to part with. But man, that's such a good offer. You got to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost comes across to me as settling. And are they at the point where they have to settle? Maybe they've put themselves in that spot, but that's not ideal.
Yeah. Well, and that's the vibe I get from people in hockey ops. Like, it's like, do we go and get something that we already have, again, who's not having a good season? Or do we go and get something that's the right fit, that makes us better, meets a need? And I think that they're going with that second plan, is the right guy that will be a force on the back end, stabilize the second or third pair, and maybe even be around for a little while. And it might not be the sexiest name that's out there or one that we thought it was available, but if it's the right piece and it helps this blue line, wouldn't you rather have that than just going and getting the next big name that's out there? Because we all know Oilers fans and every other fan base thirsts for the next big name that's available.
Yeah.
And it keeps popping up this year. And Dusty, this goes back to the problem we talked about in the preseason, going into the season. It's like, you're going to have Broberg and Bouchard on defense this season. That's 2 really young blue liners that are
2 young guys.
And it's blown up in their face way worse than I think any of us expected to. Bouchard has regressed. Broberg hasn't really progressed. And Murray's been hurt / ineffective. And we're at the point where, like, Niemelainen is only playing a few minutes. It's been bad. This is worst case scenario for the back end. And you try to be optimistic going into a season. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic, and it's just kind of blown up in everyone's faces.
So Desharnais, is there a chance that he sticks around for a while, or is this couple of looks and then back down?
I get the sense it's a cup of coffee, like a reward and a look-see. You're welcoming him in at a time where you're facing 2 really weak opponents. Granted, the Oilers tend to lose to weak opponents this season, but this is a guy that has an element that this team does not possess: huge size and a mean streak, and he's willing to drop the gloves. And I was told in the offseason, it's like, hey, this guy's probably going to play this year. And he's like Niemelainen. He'll throw the big hit. He can be aggressive. But guess what? He makes a better first pass, nicer touch with the puck, and he'll drop the gloves. Now, he's not going to knock everybody out. I've watched a bunch of his fights today, and they're good scraps, but they're not like Georges Laraque tearing a guy down and Steve McIntyre cold-cocking a guy for a KO. He just gets in there and he mixes it up, and he's got a great attitude. I highly recommend watching his interview from yesterday. You get a sense of what the person is like. I don't get the sense that he won't play on this trip because his mom and dad are flying in from Montreal, and I think brother too, to watch him. This is a chance for him to kind of, keep the door open and get his foot in the door with the organization at the top level. And they're willing to give him that opportunity. That's what I see it as. And hopefully he gets more than 3.5 minutes like Niemelainen's been getting when they've rolled 11-7 the last few games.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on that front. I was going to get into Evander Kane's looming return, but we'll save that for Friday's episode. He's not going to obviously be back before then, so we got time to talk about that. Tommy, once again, pregame show on TSN 1260. What's that? 6:30 tonight.
6:30 tonight. If you really want, you can catch the pregame show with the boys, Connor and Jeff. Sometimes Iwanek steps in there and they kind of get you all set for the pregame show. Myself, Cass, and Connor. And let's see what happens tonight. Let's see if there's fireworks again. Let's see if this team can just confidently win a game against one of the bottom feeders that is coming off an absolute spanking at the hands of the Bruins 7-1 on Sunday.
We'll see how it plays out. Take us out of here, buddy. I'll talk to you on Friday.
Oh, Big Daddy Davos is back, baby. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. It's all about the algorithm. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.